When Daniel Harper and his wife, Elise, moved into Willow Creek Gardens 6 months ago, they were chasing a dream of quiet suburban life after his 2 decades as a field agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The neighborhood, with its manicured lawns and pastel-trimmed homes, promised Serenitia a stark contrast to the chaos of undercover ops and late-night stakeouts. The Homeowners Association rules they'd signed off on seemed straightforward. Keep the grass trimmed, stick to approved paint shades, and don't leave Christmas lights up past January 15th. Daniel, a man who thrived on order, figured he'd have no trouble complying. What the glossy welcome packet didn't mention, however, was Margaret Maggie, Thornton HOA's iron-fisted enforcer who ruled Willow Creek like a feudal lord over a fiefdom. Daniel met Maggie 3 days after unpacking the last box. He was hauling a trash bin to the curb when she appeared, striding up his driveway in a navy blazer and pristine khakis, her silver-streaked hair pulled into a tight bun that seemed to defy gravity. She carried a tablet, her fingers tapping it with the precision of a drill sergeant. "Daniel Harper, I presume," she said, her voice dripping with artificial warmth. "I'm Margaret Thornton, president of the Willow Creek HOA. I hate to start on a sour note, but your front door is painted Crimson Dawn 314. The bylaws mandate Autumn Ember 310. You'll need to repaint by end of week." He blinked, waiting for her to crack a smile or admit she was joking. She didn't. "Nice to meet you, Margaret," he said, offering a handshake she ignored. "The door was like that when we bought the place. I'll check into it." "See that you do," she replied, her hazel eyes narrowing as she scanned his property like a hawk sizing up prey. "Violations carry a $75 fine, doubling weekly. We take pride in our standards here." She turned on her heel and marched off, leaving Daniel staring after her, bemused but not yet alarmed. He'd dealt with worse than petty tyrants in his career: cartel bosses, corrupt politicians, even a rogue agent or two. Maggie Thornton, he figured, was just an overzealous busybody. He'd underestimated her. The citations started trickling in within weeks. First, it was his lawn apparently a quarter-inch too long, despite his meticulous mowing. Then came a $75 fine for a basketball hoop mounted 2 inches above the approved height. One rainy Tuesday, he found a notice taped to his mailbox. His car, parked in his own driveway, had been left there 14 minutes past the 8 p.m. curfew for visible vehicles. Each time, Maggie delivered the news in person, her smug grin widening with every encounter. Daniel kept his cool, a skill honed from years of biting his tongue during interrogations. He began documenting everything: photos of his lawn, timestamps of his car's movements, copies of every passive-aggressive note. Old FBI habits didn't fade easily. It wasn't just him, though. Maggie seemed to have a particular vendetta against Willow Creek's elderly residents. Across the street lived Evelyn Carter, a soft-spoken 79-year-old widow who'd lived in the neighborhood since it was built. Daniel often saw Maggie at Evelyn's doorstep, gesturing sharply at some imagined infraction: a chipped mailbox flag, a flower pot an inch too close to the walkway. After one such visit, Daniel crossed the street with a plate of Elise's brownies as an excuse to check in. "She says my gutters need replacing," Evelyn murmured, her frail hands clutching a cup of tea. "Says they're not up to code, and I'll face fines if I don't act soon." She recommended a contractor, Tom Grayson. Said he'd do it for $8,000 if I pay cash up front. "I'd have to dip into my savings, but I don't want trouble." Daniel's gut tightened. He'd heard that tone before, fear masquerading as compliance. "Did she give you anything in writing?" he asked, keeping his voice gentle. Evelyn handed him a letter on HOA letterhead. It cited a vague structural deficiency and strongly recommended Grayson services, complete with a phone number. The language was slick, official enough to intimidate, but shy of an outright mandate. Daniel patted her arm. "Don't worry about this yet, Evelyn. Let me dig a little deeper." Over the next month, he worked quietly, chatting with other seniors under the guise of neighborly small talk. The stories piled up like evidence in a case file. Henry Patel, 83, had paid $6,000 for a mandatory roof inspection that turned out to be a cursory glance from a ladder. Claring Wynn, 76, shelled out $10,000 for driveway repairs that cracked within weeks. Each time, Maggie had pointed them to Tom Grayson, who Daniel soon learned was her cousin. Most of the work was shoddy, overpriced, or flat-out unnecessary. Worse, the HOA fines kept coming unless residents complied, draining retirement accounts and leaving folks like Evelyn trembling over their finances. Daniel's investigator instincts roared to life. He called an old FBI buddy, Mike Serrano, now retired and running a private security firm. Hypothetically, Daniel said, pacing his kitchen, if an HOA president strong-arms seniors into hiring her relative for fake repairs, skimming cash on the sidewalks that look like. Mike chuckled darkly. Fraud, for starters. Maybe racketeering if it's organized enough. Elder exploitation's a federal trigger, too. You got proof? Not yet, Daniel said. Just a hunch and some scared neighbors. Then get the proof, Mike replied. You know how. Daniel decided it was time to crash an HOA meeting. The gathering took place in the community clubhouse, a sterile box painted in Maggie's approved shade, a driftwood gray. About 30 residents slouched in folding chairs, their faces a mix of boredom and resignation. Maggie stood at the podium, gavel in hand, flanked by her treasurer, a mousy woman named Linda, and a beefy yes-man named Greg. She clicked through a slideshow of violations, a patio chair slightly off-center, a mailbox with a dent no one could see without a magnifying glass. When she flashed a photo of Evelyn's house, circling faulty gutters in red, Daniel raised his hand. Yes, Mr. Harper, Maggie snapped, her tone sharp enough to cut glass. Questions are for the end. He stood, voice steady as steel. I'm wondering how these mandatory fixes get decided. The bylaws say major repairs need a board vote and a 30-day notice to residents. I haven't seen either for Evelyn's gutters or Henry's roof, for that matter. Maggie's lips thinned into a line. We consult experts, Mr. Harper. These are safety issues. I assure you, everything's above board. Is that expert Tom Grayson? Daniel asked, calm but unrelenting. Your cousin, right? Funny how he's the only name you ever recommend. A murmur rippled through the room. Maggie's cheeks flushed, but she recovered fast. Tom's a licensed contractor offering fair rates. There's no rule against suggesting reliable help. Suggesting's fine, Daniel shot back. Pressuring vulnerable people with fake violations and pocketing kickbacks? That's a different story. The room erupted. Evelyn stood, voice quavering. Do I really need new gutters? I can't afford it. Henry chimed in. My roof was fine before he touched it. Clara waved her cracked driveway invoice, shouting, This cost me my savings. Maggie slammed her gavel, screaming, This is slander. Meeting adjourned. But no one moved. Daniel seized the moment. I move we audit the HOA's finances and review all repair orders from the last 5 years. Full transparency. Greg, the yes man, surprised everyone by nodding. I second it. I've wondered where our dues are going. He shot Maggie a wary glance, clearly lost an ally. The vote passed 28-2, with Maggie and Linda as the lone dissenters. Maggie stormed out, hurling threats of legal action. You'll regret this, Harper. I built this place. Her voice echoed as the door slammed behind her. The audit took a week. A forensic accountant Daniel recommended uncovered a cesspool of corruption. Maggie had siphoned $180,000 from HOA reserves, funneling it through shell invoices to Grayson's company. She'd billed the HOA for phantom projects pool maintenance that never happened, landscaping that existed only on paper while strong-arming seniors into direct payments. The total take across Willow Creek hit $300,000. When police searched her home, they found records of similar scams in 2 prior neighborhoods, pushing her haul past $500,000 and her crimes into federal jurisdiction. The arrest came on a crisp Thursday morning. Daniel was pruning his roses now, a regulation-compliant height, when 2 unmarked cars rolled up to Maggie's house. Officers knocked, waited, then escorted her out in cuffs. She spotted Daniel and lost it. You, this is your doing. I'll sue you into the ground. I made this neighborhood perfect. Her bun had unraveled, strands whipping in the wind as she thrashed against the officer's grip. "Do you know who I am?" An officer steered her into the cruiser, voice flat. "Ma'am, watch your head." She kept screaming as they drove off, her face a mask of rage pressed to the glass. Later, Detective Ramirez filled Daniel in. "She's cooked. We've got bank records, fake contracts, even emails to Grayson plotting the next mark. She's looking at 15 years, maybe more with the elder abuse charges." Daniel nodded, glancing at Evelyn's house. She waved from her porch, a small smile breaking through her usual worry. "Guess I'm keeping my gutters," she called. "Looks that way," he replied, clipping another rose. Willow Creek wasn't perfect, yet years of Maggie's reign had left scars, but for the first time since moving in, it felt like home. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.